NFM Radio.
Right, you're welcome to NFM Radio. You are listening to Mansa Musa. It is a Tuesday, and the program is called Fire Will Burn You. As it is, I always have to qualify that fire exactly is not burning anywhere. Metaphorically, though, if you joke, fire will burn you. I say Oja. Right, so another beautiful Tuesday afternoon, evening here in London. I am very sure whatever you are doing, you are winning. I am rocking and rolling. So come and join me. I'm the captain of the ship. I will sail and I want to sail with you. Sail away, sail away. Remember that song? Anyway, so many things to talk about here. I can see caption say I never authorized payment of 2 million to fund SkyTrain. Ladies and gentlemen, Mobe Kaya, Mbrebi Ebesinko, Kufuado ni MPP abain, omo de slogan sene akesisem, and someone ye trot to hona ama for nipa wo mine mweni ajo. Everyone, say, oh, omo ya dio, they will hail the government as though things are happening. But in the real truth of every matter, so many things have just ended up being a charade, as they say, a charade. So many things with this Akufo-Addo administration has turned out to be false, a deceit outright. If you remember, to remind you, remember the story about the Sky Train. Akufo-Addo and his people met in South Africa. Then, all of a sudden, or should I say without the recourse of engaging Parliament to discuss huge amounts of monies that, potentially could be paid out. That is the law, that if government want to embark on some huge project that will require a lot of resources, financial resources, the government, the executive will have to engage with Parliament. Parliament will debate or, discuss it. Then, after which, if Parliament will agree or will not agree, that is the law. But this is the case. We found out that we now found out that some $2 million cool dollars were given to somebody to do a group of company or a company to do visibility studies on how to construct or build SkyTrain in Ghana. You see, obviously, people will argue that the normal transportation system or transport systems have not been upgraded or not being constructed properly. So why do you even have to think about doing SkyTrain? But I don't subscribe to that. If Akufo-Addo and his people had decided that okay, we have so many or so much potholes everywhere on our roads are not very safe, we don't have enough proper highways and the rest, the trains it's not up to well standards, a whole lot of things. Even if that was the situation, Akufo-Addo wanted to build Sky Trains, I would say, okay, go ahead. So far, it's a new thing and it was going to help, so go ahead. But to just announce that the government or the executive plan to build SkyTrain for the aesthetics or the optics or for the general narrative to make people have to make party members and the grassroots or the base very happy for the how do I say it, to win, for the grassroots to win the talking points that, oh, we are making this, we are doing this and that and that. That is okay. You can just say, oh, we plan to build Sky Trains. You can say it. Fine. It's not a big deal. Politicians like to, this sort of grandiose announcement make them in order to boost morale or to make themselves feel good. Everywhere on this planet, politicians do that, right? Obviously, if it is one-man show dictatorship, they say it and they can do it without recourse to Parliament or any sort of scrutiny or any sort of established oversight from anywhere. But when it is a democracy, or let's say parliamentary democracy or multi-party system like we have in Ghana now, then it behoves on the government or the executive to make sure that they discuss everything and anything that they want to do with Parliament. So for government apparently, or for the executive to have paid $2 million to a company to do visibility studies without recourse to Parliament. Today we found out that the former Minister for the Railways or Trains or whatever, Mr. Jogati, Honorable Jukate is denying that he didn't authorize those payments and that the payment didn't come from his ministry. That could be the truth, that may be the truth. But wherever the money is coming from, since it is from public purse, someone will have to answer questions as to how you can pay. You can go beyond the laws, the set out rules. The law is that I think if government is paying any money over and above certain amount, I don't know exactly, I can find out, but over and above certain amount, the government, the executive will have to contact or consult parliament. Whether you have majority there or not, you still have to consult parliament. That is the law. Akufo-Addo and his people and his clansmen, Akufo-Addo and his brothers and sisters and cousins and family, friends, and all those people, they've, they have the habit, or they've had the habit of just paying monies, throwing monies away, literally, just paying monies. And the thinking is that nobody actually can question them. You see, the fact is, I always, or for a long time, I have sat in my chair on this captain's bridge to say that, look, it is very likely that the final showdown, that's what I call it, the final showdown would happen in Ghana. Because I don't see anyhow, Akufo-Addo, if they lose the election, is going to hand over. Knowing very well that it will be like, having the lion or the tiger in a cage. And for some reason, he said, okay, I'm going to release the tiger or the lion from the cage, free, to just, free the lion or the tiger. Knowing very well that the lion or the tiger will not be, in friendship with whoever is available. You see? So I know, I want to be proven wrong. I think it is going to be a do or die affair in Ghana. The monies that have been thrown away, the monies that have been chucked away, monies that have just disappeared, and nobody is asking questions, or I say nobody, at least the opposition will ask questions, but most of the times, on many occasions, answers none comes from anywhere. In a country where the radio, or let's say media personnel, especially the spoken ones, they've become a partner, they are in partnership with the executive, the government. They are actually not employed by government, but apparently they are receiving payment from the government outfit. And so, opposition raises a question, a situation, something. Sometimes maybe the opposition may be wrong, or, well, maybe they haven't got the facts. But, it becomes the responsibilities of, or the responsibility of media people, of the media, to scrutinize, to ask questions, to find out truth. If what the opposition is asking here and there is founded, is legitimate, is valuable, or if what the opposition is making noise about is trivial, and that we should move ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana for me say ya trahosa emasa ayeye sa. And then Honorable Joe got to say, look, media, and you mean I make $2 million in Maubia. In a country that someone would decide to pay 1 million. Now, when we are mentioning these monies, they look tiny. It sounds very tiny, very minute. 1 million, 2 million. You understand? But if you know how many of these 1 million, 2 millions have just gone away, payment into things that cannot be justified. A country that someone we call senior minister, Jesus Christ. There was a position in government called senior minister. That's why when I hear somebody like Seku Nkrumah, Osajefo's son, talking as though he hasn't got head on his neck, say Osajefo was a dictator. I'll find time for him. I'll reply him, but another time. In a democracy, so-called democracy today, of chop make a chop, we had somebody called senior minister, and who was paid above all ministers, and who actually did absolutely nothing to help the country. Absolutely nothing to help the cause, the projection, the direction, the forward march of our Ghana. That senior ministership position or senior minister position was never necessary. And this guy was able to just give $1 million to a group of people somewhere. And when we had the Auditor General, when he had the temerity, or when he dared to question that, look, some $1 million of our money has been paid to some company, a company somewhere, and we don't see the work done. Can you please come and explain? He rather fell foul with Akufo-Addo and his family. You see, the point is, the style, the way Akufo-Addo is governing Ghana, if it was providing or producing any legitimate outcomes, any positive result, then we'll keep quiet and say, okay, maybe this is the way forward. Every government which comes to power should adopt this style, where you gather your friends and, people that will support you and pay them huge sums of monies from nowhere. Monies that you borrow, just used to pay people to support you. Like Akufo-Addo is doing in terms of payments to alleged payments to some media personalities. Those are the secret ones. For the ones in public domain, he has given them, he has positioned them, or he has put them in some lucrative positions to be paid by the public. And so, such entities, such media fraternity cannot say any ill. Forget about saying any ill, but cannot be objective. They simply cannot be objective about whatever and however governance is being performed in Ghana. Akufo-Addo's style of governance, you see, I'm saying, if it was resulting in some positive outcomes, the way Akufo-Addo is paying people to support him, the way he has, stuffed the judicial system with to use the socialist speak, his comrades, his supporters, people who are in tune with his ideology. The judicial system is now filled with, the Akufo-Addo's clan's sort of supporters. And so no matter where you do, what you turn, you don't get any answers. So much so that even the what do we call it, the workers' unions, so much diluted that when workers wants to ask some questions, needs some answers, when workers want to negotiate, their own leadership somehow dragging them back, because that leadership is being filtrated, it's been bought, it's been completely been compromised by the Kufuor government. For me, it's simple. My philosophy, if that is working for the country, the general good, then we'll say, okay, fine. Going forward, everyone should do the same. If you are lucky to be in power, you buy the sector that you can buy, pay them. The money is coming from somewhere. After all, it's just borrow for the country to be taken over by others. You borrow, and the country has got so much minerals, so much wealth, natural wealth and everything. So you borrow against that. You cannot pay. People take over for the next 50 or 100 years. Our people will live in squalor. Majority of the people who live in squalor will never see proper standards, standards in their living life. I mean, they can never see proper, the material support that others are taking for granted all over, the enlightened jurisdictions or countries. People living outside of the poverty-stricken Africa, they are improving their lot in terms of health, education, transport, in terms of housing, in terms of support, monetary support here and there. Agriculture, food is abundant everywhere in Europe. And the irony we face today is that Ukraine is fighting, so Africans are going hungry. And the pride, the comfort to which, politicians will describe a situation. And in this case, I have to say, it's not only Ghanaian politicians. All over the African continent, the ruling parties are blaming everything on everybody except themselves. So, really, my question, what I'm saying, the American say, send a Kufuor all boomai, say ne papa moi, style no, say, you have to make sure, say, what do you need to judiciary no beshe homa, obeto a media phone, and yes, and omo no do jomu, all this cabe for omo. If sa plan we a year dia, any emphasis. Sa plan we no a year, any emphasis na yen vote to bow me and I can even can Japan no media so. Sometimes can be. You see, I could just shut up and keep quiet because me to be my moi, be biana be hiano, reasonably or in relative terms, Minsaka. And and come to me, I deem it me a come and family home. But we shed the asana, we are cynical. Now, there are reasons for us Africans. Yeah, you need bien, ye too quite now, you need bien, yes, dear, you need beer, Jumudono, and who say, send a citron tree, in grass, ye bush, ye have jungle near forest for Africa, no, and try ye. It's not right. It's not right for, say, the moment I see a year after I see democracy, ya twaba. And as I say, democracy na African acquire so me dibia na mako. We chance also be dibi. That's all. To me, just say we haven't got the capacity. Say, the spirit that actually directs a human being. Say you are doing something for the people you are leading. After all, no, that is why you are the leader, and they give you some privileges. Ordinary person, and that privileges comes with serious responsibilities. You must be responsible for say nipana ewo ekromu hono almost benya kakredie. But in Africa, The moment you try about my pay, yes, you have become the Lord. Bia to me can was as we speak, say no. I mean, as we speak, how come say bribery, corruption, abaye normalized? Obia just say, enshada emfa obia po. Yesterday, when I interviewed one Mr. Jantua, he is of the Nkrumah's fraternity. You see, and he said something which I agree with, or maybe I don't, but it made sense. Or say, look, you people are in Europe and America and all elsewhere. Of course, there is corruption in Europe, in America, all those places. But the fact is, the citizens at least receive, or at least they feel they receive the minimum the minimum care, or they are looked after by government. If you are ill, they have time for ambulances to come and pick you. Relatively good hospitals. Just like yesterday, I went, my GP, my doctor said I should go and check this blood, this blood, that, yearly checks and this, at least. When in man you are growing all these prostrates and, prostrates and all these sort of things, you need to go and check, fine. So yesterday I went, I was late, okay, I didn't have an appointment. This lady, nurse, for me, I like how, I know how to sweet talk people to at least help me. Not bribery as such, just say, responding that, what a pretty nurse who is taking care of me, something like that. Just by saying that, now this lady is, okay, let me check the neighborhood. Maybe there are other places you can go to, have your blood test, the blood taken. And she found somewhere, gave me 1 hour, and I went there, I did the blood test. You see, these things we take for granted here. We know that the millionaires and the billionaires in UK and the rest, look, they have some serious advantages over ordinary people. Yes, it's going to be like that forever. But when you live in a society that those at the top are extremely advantaged, they are extremely privileged over and above everyone else. Nothing good is happening for any person below that line. And it's only the Brian Champons, the Kennedy Japons, the president, the Baumiers. I'm mentioning these names because these guys have made millions in dollars and billions in Ghana's money just over 6 years that they have been in government. This isn't right. This isn't right. Let me go for a short break. I'll be back. You are listening to Mansa Musa programs. Fire will burn you.
NFM Radio.
Right, fire will burn you, Mansa Musa. I am sitting in the captain's bridge, or is it rather on the captain's bridge, and I'm ready to sail away. So kind of join me. Join me to sail away. Let's go for this one as well.
As chairman for UK and Ireland chapter, oh you need papa, oh you need a money who doctor Joanne, no ya better man. I will vote for doctor. I want a takra, the money who ya fair. A takra bonus so dear young boy. Ya to a baby a makoya, ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, a one no and I want a takra, the money who ya fair. Takra bonus so dear young boy. Ya to a baby a young woman so ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, on no and I. Dr. George Massey, on all the NDC Qua, and what you can the island, the could see a person or the boy. Never party no money for any shit. Oh yeah, on my papa or Guinea. My own two abandonment. Dr. Joe Ajaman say, or when make kiss yourself. Party in the Benyan own office. My meetings are doing now. I pay Dr. Array's fund. Sikabotu I move through. Say on the bell. Executive members, any departmentals, and some are doctor and preachers or the one at those. Nina's motion, na ed. So I will vote for him. Go and vote for him. Dr. Joe Ajmai, on one I play. We gonna vote for Dr. Papa said. I am Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. Yeah, back to Amado. Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. You go vote, and I go vote for Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. Vote for Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. The big king of diaspora, we go vote for Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. Ope party no ye dia, nye mistake. Vote for Dr. Joe Ajmai, go back to Amado. Dr. Joe Ajmai, man of vision. Dr. Joe Ajmai.
Right, if you have just tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Mansa Musa is ready to rock and roll. So if you've come there, you can call me to ask me a question or add your contribution. This story here is a clash between Asawasi traders and macho men turns bloody. It said things turned bloody after a clash between some traders and macho men at Akwatia line in the Asawasi municipality of the Ashanti region. The incident reportedly happened when some heavily built men tried to stop some angry traders who attempted to stop an ongoing project in the area for fear of being evicted. According to this particular news outfit, the presence of these men at the project site turned, further worsened matters as agitated traders became angry and angrier. Things became tense when the heated argument intensified and soon blows were flying around. The report by 3 News indicates that things turned bloody and some individuals got injured in the process and that had to be taken to hospital. I mean, you see, me can't story with you because it's not that it's unique. The level of your friend is saying the frustrations, the level of anger, which is the pent up anger in individuals and in communities in the societies in Ghana, is such that Archbishop Duncan Williams once said that very soon people will take the law into their own hands and there'll be fights here and there. You see? All this one, say governance a failing. When the Dankwa Project, Dankwa Institute, actual book say, yeah, dear, our plan is to capitalize on the financial and the judicial structures of the country. To me now, to me for about 20 years. It's not about governing for people to feel free and happy. It is about obidi say gabi ochredako feel say omaino nidia. Miramako, me say, I am very sure that there will be a bloody final showdown in Ghana too. And that is a shame. That is unpleasant. But no mean himself happy.
NFM Radio.
Microphone can be happy.
NFM Radio. Emu daho.
You Matthias here. So these sort of skirmishes, fighting, me want say in Rabbity baby, I see some official government out the land department, they have employed land guards and a whole lot of issues are won't you see a whole lot of issues are won't you see yeah can Pufado and in Portugal on the yentra play mu yen find chin a Kufado yen fru plane yen find chin. You see, every time when I say these things, I don't speak in a vacuum. I'm not just criticizing. What I'm saying is that what do we call it? Physics or mathematics principle or the rule that to every action there's equal and opposite reaction. Everything you do, the result. Say Ekufuado say no si bomai o tu kwan bebre kwa haba se mfaso no a de ba Ghana no e dosu sene e ka no a de ba no a e ka meka ma no atum. You see Ekufuado going around everywhere and doing the work that maybe a foreign minister should do. Ekufuado going everywhere and pretending to be doing the work that a foreign minister or a trade minister or a finance minister should do. O tu kwano kwaye juma ministers ni so moye. No agina allowance near the abo okana bugana for so. But my question is, if it turned out and as I could see say the way the style or the bo mino and the infaso ba e keep come on atum. This Ekufuado is like a disease. To say, yare abetu Ghana for a komu ayasi omu true. I beg your pardon. Ekufuado, I say yare bia aka Ghana for yetri yare ye. And now so to kwan. Yetra play mu ye na abrofo enkotra yin di abrofo aduane hotel enwa. If you ask people, quantify the legacy, the result, the outcomes of all this waste of monies. And Ekufuado. Another story said the High Court in Accra has reportedly denied a request by a lead convener of the Fix the Country movement, Oliver Vomo, for his ongoing treason felony trial to be held daily. I go if I so hard you. In a Facebook post shared on Tuesday, July 18, that's today, 2023, by US-based Ghanaian lawyer and scholar. I promise that anyone who will call, I will take their call. So let me take this call because I have very little time so that we can continue. Hello.
3627811. To listen to the message.
And you are framing with your message. Okay, fine. Oh, dear, grow with anyway, meaning no man, no, if everyone has a message about before. Anyway, let's go. I'll say in a Facebook, okay, so what am I kind of say? This one, it was a Facebook shared by US-based Ghanaian lawyer and scholar, Professor Stephen Kwekwasari, popularly known as Kwekwaza. Indicated that the lawyers of Baker Vimowo requested that their trial be heard daily, but this was denied. He indicated that the judge for the case adjourned the trial to Thursday, October 12th. You see, if you recall, and I say, remind him one. So when him say, judge question case, judge didn't say, it be the assembly de bia. It's a basena. Oliver Bowen, the on one or see or pay, say a cocotte de biani and quid the Musi Devi. Osajifu denied the trial on daily basis as his treason inverted commerce trial postponed to 12th of October. The year the post all right. So you see, the inconsistencies, the unpredictability of Ghana's justice system. Oliver, the unpredictability of the judicial system has become predictable anyway, because it is that people should know and assume and at least know that this is what is going to happen. But it shouldn't have been like that anyway. Oliver Baker Vermoor, in an earlier post, indicated that his trial was adjourned because the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dame, was not prepared. So, Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dame, is prepared that justice, what we call Judge Question's case, can be held daily, but not prepared for Oliver Vermoor. I said, look, I'm saying it, and it pains me to say that I can only see, unfortunately, I can only see a bloody final showdown in Ghana. The other time I saw a clip, someone trying to explain or remind Ghanaians what is contained in a book written by the Dankwa Institute as to how to govern, what to take, and how to make sure, the whole country is wrestled and controlled by one group of people. We can take it as a joke or nothing to worry about. But if we consider what has transpired, the money before now, I've already spoken about a so-called Sky Train payment, which is just gone. Then before that, we had a position known as senior minister. I tell you, there was a particular ruler in Central African Republic called Emperor Bokassa. He himself named himself Emperor. He crowned himself Emperor Bokassa. He was one of the apparently wicked dictators in Africa or in the world who lived. At least, fortunately, he didn't live long. This was the guy who made his 12 or 14-year-old son commander of their navy. Considering that this Central African Republic is thousands of miles from the sea, so the country didn't have a navy, but he made that son a navy commander and was being paid. Even he did not have a senior minister. Jesus Christ. How have Ghanaians leveled themselves so low for this Ekufado clan? How? Now he was senior minister. So that senior minister decided to just dispense of some $1 million, just like that. Then we had this Kevin Taylor guy exposing that, there's some payment that people didn't believe it. Until the Auditor General, Domilevo, brought it out that, look, there has been some payment and I haven't seen the work done for that payment. So please come and respond. Hey, wakamusio, wabomusio. That was what do we call it? Do you say taboo or what is the word for abomus yourself in English? I've forgotten. I know these words, but sometimes I don't know. You see? Oh, I'll remember. But so for the Auditor General trying to do his work properly, he was vilified. In the end, he had to be sacked. For the senior minister to stay on for the whole 4 years, accumulated money for himself and his family. Now this senior minister is still being paid heavily, and nobody actually knows exactly the work he's doing. But as they say, no one really cares. And Shadamfa will be a Ghana. Edio, I want to say SSNto, a ding. So the Attorney General said he is not in favor of Oliver Vermoor Ebenya daily representation in our court. But the same Attorney General already so as for Jachi question the DBS court. Because of that, apparently about 30-something MPs of the NPP attended parliament because the NDC for no, this is what we call power play. Obviously, it is not something that will be, addressed. Something that will be justified. But this is power play. That is politics. And who can blame them? Who can blame them for what is going on? That they should come and sit down and do business, but then you people are going to victimize and squeeze the blood out of them. But at the same time, you should be laughing. It's like you see a bony 12. I remember they did something like that when we were training as recruits. They give you slaps, and the sergeant will say, smile or even laugh. Imagine hot African sun standing on the parade grounds. You are giving slaps, hot slaps, and they are telling you to smile. This is what they are doing to Ghanaians. Just say, you can't believe what is going on. That's what's happening in Parliament. The parliamentary, the MPP side, the other time I saw this clip, Brian Champo, talking down to his colleague parliamentarian from the opposite side, talking down to him. So much so that the people present at that gathering, they didn't take kindly to it and started accusing that you are disrespecting us. This is what's happening in the country. Me, Atoko, yesterday I said it. I said, look, anybody seriously thinking that he's a follower of this MPP, it's not about MPP, but this MPP, Kufuor and about me, you have to have your brains examined, because this isn't right. The people are making huge sums of money at the expense of everybody. That's how we know. For those who get some to chop, let's put it that way, when you be there, fine. But those of you, many of you, I know you don't have nothing. You don't get nothing from it, just that the pride. So you're buying a wasso, and so you support. Please, go have your brains examined, reviewed, checked. See what I mean? I'm going for a break. After that, it will be the turn of Dr. Joe Uswajimai. He, what we call the campaign hour, and within it, you have the bi-weekly, or is it twice a week, discussions on health matters. Don't go anywhere.
NFM Radio.
Stay with me and stay with me.
NFM Radio.
Right. So yes, welcome once again, Mansa Musa with Dr. Joe Oswajima to do tonight's party campaign hour. After this introduction or introductory music, the voice you're going to hear will be that of Dr. Joe Oswald.
National Democratic Congress NDC when no nyam for money member mo UK ni Ireland chapter no. Ya ye when I say beto aba every chapter chairman fofo. Na said the chinene mum lukoto on the swear. And no nyam for Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man. The father say the party no enim kai. O dia monye sema kutile ye. They will to the west over for masrum koso. One more do my dear, a funny what it through. Now it's in a nice so. You might be brain or dear Guaquemua, or by a dear Maye, Benny said, or Sijna ye, a sequel to media beer, which is a party office. Now, or the Sicati £3 and payment numina to us here, and yet £5,000. Or Sandra Magwani Mama Honsu, £1,000 na ever show Mujumadia Mukina, na is Sijna. Don't swear, but you're a for all bet true Mudi Abaka party in a hoodie. Omon Bracrao, Omusabaka Omudika, and 10 times so. Na Achi Adam Abakaya home. And you will see me and Sebian so. Party moon penumfua, only the ready ever show Munsebiano, about two saffron Martinase. Na dia show Munsado over Bumapunta Marco. When the Brennan or Bayama you. Only a Sapatra Possible Mountuma, Bisanidi. Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man, Tapa Chairman Anna, Yantumano.
As chairman for UK and Ireland chapter, oh you need papa, oh you need a money, oh doctor Joanne, oh you bet you a man. I will vote for Doctor. Understand? I want to tackle the money who you fair. And tackle about this so dear young boy. You're too baby, I'm a coya, ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, you want no one I want to tackle the money who you fair. Tackle about this so dear young boy. You're too baby, I'm a young woman, so ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, on no one Dr. George Massey, on no day of a say, NDC Kwa, the war you can the island, the beginning of diaspora, I crab a shetty, Montuman, Dr. Joanne, what they come over, I'm a mebu. The Cambo, this is a papa.
NFM Radio. NFM Radio. NFM Radio.
Right, NFM Radio, Mansa Musa, and the program is Fire Obey Tuesday edition, and obviously Tuesday edition comes with a party political broadcast by Dr. Joe Oswajima, who is right here sitting in front of me or opposite me, and he's ready to roll. Yo, Doctor, let's go.
Okay, Mansa Musa, thank you very much. And it's been a while. I think I was here last Thursday, but it looks as if it's been a long time coming to this studio. This is the studio that nobody can ignore. This is a studio that if you want to hear good news about Ghana, about our great party, the NDC, this is the studio that everyone has to listen or watch us on Facebook or YouTube. Before I say anything, let me say good evening to our cherished listeners. People are watching over this Facebook and then YouTube. And as the tradition demands, let me share how grateful I am with my campaign team, led by Mr. Lons Agini, his deputy, Ms. Rita Mensa, campaign advisor, Dr. Tebi, campaign media consultant with Mr. Kofi Adani Bogawan.
NFM Radio.
And this wonderful lady who has been coordinating all the campaign activities, that is Mami Sewa. And not forgetting about my sisters and brothers in Ghana, especially Haji Akumapa, who has been working so hard. Mr. M. Abolo, who is a member of the communicating team in Accra, Greater Accra, and Mr. Kwamina Dazi. I salute all of you. And another greeting goes to another communicator, one of the best communicators I've ever met, with Mr. Obim Frimpong as well. So I salute all of you, and I will end here, and the campaign manager will come and say a few words, and I'll continue with my current affairs. Thank you very much.
National Democratic Congress NDC no form mani mema mo UK ni Ireland chapter no ya yetienie bena so say beto aba chapter chairman fofo na se de chine no mum rukoto on swe enyonya for Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man. The father say the party no enim kan odi amonyesema kutine yie ne wetu ni hwese wa performance ronkoso woni mu adwumade de e fa ne hotitiru na esini nan so nwumade bebre no de egu akwemu a obeye de amaye bini se o sigina ye esiko no dwumade bia me kire party office na odisika 3 pounds empemenum na ato ase eye 5,000 pounds or Sancho Magwoni Mama Honsu, £1,000 na ever show Mujuma Mukina, na is Sijina. Don't swa, which are afro, Omobet Tro Mudi, Abaka Party in a hoodie. Omombra Crow, Omosabaka Omudika, and 10 times so. Na Achi Adom Abakaya home. Ayo Bosumi and Sebianso. Party Mumpenum Fua, only the ready ever show Munsebiano, about 2 saffron what's nasi. Na dia show Munsado, Omo Buwa Ponta Marco. When the Bebrena no bayama you. Onia, Sapatra Possible Mountuma, Bisanidi, Yadi, Dr. Joe Ajimai, the restoration man, Chapter Chairman Anna, Yantumano.
Right. The party or the campaign chairman, I think, is available. He's ready to go. Okay. Mr. Lons Agini, if you are ready, take it away.
Yes, Mansa Musa, let me say a very good evening to our cherished listeners, both those who are watching and listening to us now. My second greetings also goes to yourself, your team of producers, and all the people who have made it possible for my candidate to have this hour to propagate his ideas for transforming this great chapter of ours. Dr. Joe, I say a very good evening to you, and I look forward for a very successful, how do I call it, encounter today. Mansa Musa, let me just say that the news that I have picked up or I'm picking up is that the long-awaited report from the CIC is to say it's almost ready. I hear that it's on its way to Accra, and I believe that it should be in Accra hopefully by the end of the week, depending on how the skies, contains it. Mansa, let me take this opportunity to once again assure our team supporters that the CIC, I believe, will do, or perhaps has done a good job. When you look at the men and women who makes up that particular committee, these are, I would call them nobles, whose only interest is to make sure that the platform is created for fair play, equitability, and also for respect for administrative principles, both from the branches up to the chapter level. So that is the only news that I've got to share with you this evening before Doctor proceeds on his program. The last thing is that it's so interesting that, Doctor, I have had calls. In fact, I'm sorry, I have to put you on the spot. I've had calls all over from the place. I mean, when I say all over, I mean the diaspora. I've had 2 calls from Germany, one from USA, about people wanting to know exactly what is going on. And the answer, as usual, is that we don't know. We had quite a lot of issues regarding the register of some of these branches. But what I said, and I'm putting it across today, that, Doctor, I salute you for your commitment to uphold the very ideals that gave birth to us. I salute you for making NFM Radio credible enough, for people who deemed it as irrelevant for other reasons best known to them, for them to come over to the studios and begin to share what they have. I salute you for the consistency. And as I've always indicated, Doug, our quest to make sure that the right administrative principles are upheld remains unabated. As true products of the revolution, we will do everything in our power, legally and lawfully and consciously, to make sure that the unity of this chapter is not tampered with. But that will only be assured when the right things are done. Mansa Musa, I haven't got much to say again, but I will come back when Doctor is done with the health program, and we will put few things across as usual. Thank you very much, and have a successful program, Dog. Stay blessed.
Okay.
NFM
Thank you
Radio.
very much, Lons. You've done it, and then I always put my 1 penny with you, and then you never disappoint. So thank you very much. Mansa Musa, this evening, when I was coming to the studio and I was thinking about what's happening in Ghana, and remember we were talking about how bad the MPP administration, i.e. Nana Akufo-Addo and co., especially the person who calls himself the economic czar, how they were running our country. And then we, the NDC members, we were talking about this all the time. And these people were saying, no, this person like that is like this. And now, according to, from Ken, the NDC, MPP own presidential aspirant. Now, the cat has been nipped out of the bag. The secret of the MPP is now out. Now they are saying exactly what we were saying from day one this administration took power. This is no news to Ghanaians that these people were so bad with economy. They just brag. They don't know what they are doing. You see, Dr. Bawumia, during the NDC and President Mahama's time, when President Mahama was the president of Ghana, he was doing everything to make Ghana better, to change Ghana, to become the Ghana that we all asking for. And they came, Dr. Bawumia was saying that, vote for Nana Akufo-Addo and him, and once they got a nod, they would change Ghana within 18 months and everything. And they were saying all these lies from one university to another, one college of tertiary institution to another. He was saying all this. People of Ghana gave him the benefit of the doubt, gave Nana the benefit of the doubt, and look at what they've done. So, I'm not surprised that Kennedy Japan is now talking and saying Bawumia is no strategist. Of course he's not. How can he be strategist? This is the guy that is flip-flopping, bragging around. Having said this, Kennedy Japan cannot absorb himself from what's happened. I know he has come to say something to support what we were talking about.
NFM Radio.
What we were talking about so many years ago, especially during the campaign time and beyond. But now, I can say that Ken was swimming with the same MPP swimming and doing what they do best, bad things. Ken was the part of the MPs who voted for the e-levy. All the killer taxes that are hurting Ghanaians, i.e. going to the IMF and the conditionality that we have now. Ken was part of it. Ken can never absorb himself. I know he has said something, he has vindicated the NDC people, but now everyone knows that what they were doing was, was bad. Ken, when they were there, these MPP people were talking about incompetence. NDC was incompetent. President John Mahama was incompetent. They were saying that. Now, Ken own words. He said, when NDC was in power, the dollar was 4 Ghana cedis. Equivalent, if I may say it. But now, $1 is equivalent to 12 Ghana shoppable cedis. So what did they say about it? Their own people are saying it. This is not coming from NDC that people, somebody will stand somewhere and say, we are trying to propagate something untruthful thing. You understand? This is no propaganda. This is the true thing coming from their own mouth. And at the moment, Bawumia and MPP incompetence raises to the power of infinity. Very, very big. Their competence is very huge. I mean, the power of countable infinity, equivalent to uncountable infinity, if I may say. That's exactly what their incompetence is. I can tell you see, the man I'm talking about, Dr. Bawumia, let's say, the man is so confused that he doesn't even know whether he belongs to the Muslim fraternity or Christian fraternity. Whenever he goes to Christian church or attends church in the Christian dome, he says, oh, I used to be a Christian, so embrace me, because he wants votes. And then when he goes to mosque or meet people from people who are Muslims, this guy will say, I am a devout Muslim, vote for me. So which is which? The guy is confused. This guy is as confused as his economic strategies. He's very confused. If he cannot come out and say, oh, you don't know your identity. We all know that the background of Dr. Bawumia, he was a Christian. Dr. Bawumia was a Christian before becoming Muslim. And now saying that, oh, I used to be, this is not secondary school, this is not college, and said, I used to be alma mater or I used to be old student. No, you cannot do that. You're either a Christian or a Muslim, simple. I've got brothers who are Muslims. I'm talking about my cousins. In Ghana, we say brothers. My cousins, my aunt's children, some of them are Muslims, and my side are Christians. We all live together. But why should I go and then say I'm a Muslim today and tomorrow I'm a Christian and whatever, all because of votes? No. You need which is which. He should stop messing Ghanaians around, and then, they are not needed. They are not needed. And moving from this, today I'm not going to talk too much about current affairs, but moving from this is the first time that we got Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, that his own office, 92 vehicles have not been insured. And the man who is supposed to ensure justice or make sure justice is served, his own backyard, is not obeying the rules in the country or the laws in the country. So how can we call this man Minister of Justice? This guy is busy chasing the NDC MPs, trying to jail them so that they can reduce our numbers from the parliaments. They can pass every law that they want, whether bad or good, push it through. But let me tell you something. Power is transient. Power is transit. I know it's very sad, but my advice will be political power is transit. So when you have it, do public good while it lasts. That's my advice to Dr. Baumia. That's my advice to the Attorney General, and that's my advice to the governing party, because who was the first president in this Fourth Republic? Our father, President Rawlings. I'm talking about this republic that we are in now, the Fourth Republic. And then what happened? He gave power. He handed over to President Ajekum Kufuor. And he in turn handed over to Professor Mills. And then, due to some, sometimes we don't know. Whatever happens, we give glory to God, because if you believe in religion, that's what you do. And President Mahama came in. And President Mahama, he was on top of, he was the man in charge of all the army. I'm talking about the police, in charge of all the security forces. But when the time came, he handed over to this government. And I sit here and say that this government will hand over come 2025, 7th January. He's going to hand over, and then they have no chance. So, people talking about they're not going to hand over. Well, you're not Ghana. One person cannot be the army. One person cannot be the policeman. So they can do whatever they will do. But Ghanaians, once they vote you out, you are going, and there's nothing that you can do. As I speak to you now, how they mismanage Cocoa Board. I quite remember this former agriculture minister, Owusu Afriyakuto. This guy in 2020 was talking about the previous NDC government, and he was saying how cocoa production was very low, and he was saying everything, using the word incompetence and everything about the. Okay, fair enough. If I may give some few statistics. In 2016, 2017, that was from President John Mahama to Nana Akufo-Addo, because Nana Akufo-Addo came to power, or became a president in 2017. And the cocoa, the output was 969,511 metric tons of cocoa. That was the output, the production. Okay. Then 2018 hasn't got any factor from John Mahama and the NDC. That's purely MPP. People that were saying that President Mahama wasn't competent. NDC were doing anything how, according to them. And then they were coming to increase the yield of cocoa, and for cocoa, the production to go up. What happened? 2018, 904,740 metric tons. They had to reduce. Then 2019, purely MPP, 811,606 is been reducing. And let me jump to 2020 and 2021. They went for 1.3 billion whatever loan for cocoa, and they were expecting 900,000. So you can see the trend going down. They are messing the cocoa board. These people are messing up big time. And then they've got a gut to move around the country. And then we also saw what happened during the Kumawu by-election and then the Asinov by-election, where money, they were sharing monies as if they've got the machines in their backyard. And then every polling station, they were giving 600,000 Ghana choppable cedis with 200 cedi notes. That's what this government is about. Bribe their way out. If you let's do this mathematics. If people bear with me, if you put the Asinov, the number of the polling stations were 99, or we got 99 polling centers. So if you're giving every polling center 600,000 times 99, it's about 59 million Ghana cedis. So is somebody telling me that the people who are picketing, I'm talking about the buffer stock suppliers that they haven't been paid for the past 2 years. They just released, I've heard that they just released 100 million only today or so. And what's going to happen? It's just one drop in the Martin Ocean. What's going to do? So if you're using this amount of money and you can't pay suppliers that have supplied schools in Ghana, then what kind of government are you? This government is swimming in lies, but nothing else. Swimming in lies. They are bathing in the sea of lies. And then any time we got some journalists like this Ochre, whatever, in Good Evening Ghana will come and then just say, chat nonsense. We want Ghana that people tell the truth. We want the Ghana, the people who speak to the power, and we want Ghana that is more democratic. Because when President John Mahama, I never heard that somebody was arrested because he was insulting the president or the minister, but it's going on now in Ghana. And then it's up to Ghanaians to know, As I speak to you now, cocoa bills, the people that gave money for them to get the cocoa board to get money to buy cocoa and sell it. Their bonds. This is the first time they default paying people cocoa board. Now the finance minister is saying that, okay, let's say those who bought their cocoa bills or the bill holders, if say 2023, then this how they're going to be paid. 5% in 2024, that's how much you're going to get on your money. The interest plus the amount that you invested. 5% in 2024, 20% in 2025, 25% in 2026, 25% of your money and interest 2027, and 25% of your money invested plus interest in 2028. And then somebody's telling him that this government is working. The government is not working. Nothing is working in Ghana. Oh, what you're doing is you're just bragging and telling people, and then he said they want to break 8. Break what? How can you break 8 if you don't know what you're doing? As I speak to you now, there's another haircut going in this industry, and then the finance minister doing what I've just described, and people don't know this. MPP is not party that people should put their interest or believe them whatever they say, because today they want to make the railway, the trains that will move on the land, and then the next minute they want to do the train, the sky one, and the next minute another minister will say it's not possible and they want to do underground. Ghanaians are the same. You cannot keep on lying to Ghanaians for them to listen and then. But one thing I like about Ghanaians is they will look at you, and when the time comes, they will use their kokomoti power. And that's what everyone's waiting for. Because what we don't want is any form of coup. We don't want that. That's the thing of the past. But what we want is Ghanaians getting independence, second independence, through the ballot box. Because MPP government hasn't come to help anyone. They came in to enrich themselves, to steal the amount of money. This is the first time the president and the government printing money, Bank of Ghana printing money without telling the parliament. Can you imagine? That's not nice and that's not good. But people are looking on because the radio stations and all their stomachs, the presenters, some of them, their stomach been bought by this government. So they go there, they say whatever they want to say. But let me tell you something. We only got one Ghana. Nana has destroyed Ghana. Nana and MPP, they have destroyed Ghana. But I plead with them, please do not destroy our democracy because you came to meet it. thank you very much. And I will leave it here today. I said I was going to do current affairs in a short manner. And Thursday, I'll bring more. And then the Thursday edition will be in Chi and demanding, because today's health topic is a bit wide and a broad topic, and we have to be very careful so that we apportion our time. So I've got a signal that I'm going over my time. So thank you very much for listening to me. And Thursday, we go over this current affairs and go into detail. Thank you.
NFM Radio.
NFM Radio. Emu daho.
As chairman for UK and Ireland chapter, oh you need papa, oh you need a mind, oh doctor Joanne, I will vote for doctor. I want to Takra, the money who you fair. And Takra Buni Sudia Yampo, Yatua baby, I'm a koya, ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, eh, or no, and I want to Takra, the money who you fair. Takra Buni Sudia Yampo, Yatua baby, I'm a young so ready a bet to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, or no, and I Dr. George Masi, on the upper side, NDC Kwa, the UK Island, the beginning of diaspora, I crab a shetty, Montumanuel, Dr. Joanne, or the Campo Muba, I'm a mebu. The Campo Muba is a papa, or the Campo Muba, my medina. Yeah, ready. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of Dr. Joe Ajimai. When in my papa, Dr.
NFM Radio.
Never party no money for any shit. Oh yeah, on my papa, or Guinea home. My
Right, that was the first segment of the program by Dr. Joe Swajiman, aided by the able Lieutenant Lone Sergeant, whom you heard on the radio via a phone call. Right, so now after this music, the next stage or the next segment is known as the Health Hour discussion, or the presentation of health issues and implications, and how to avoid and how to live considerably or relatively, how do I say, sickness free, or living without so much of a bother when it comes to illness. Even if you are living properly, you are eating properly and exercising, you are not doing things like myself, and you are not lazy about exercise, then of course, even when you are sick, a bit of mild fever, the fever or the malaria or headaches or whatever that puts some people on their beds for a long time, long period, you will just brush over it. The fever or malaria or headache will come and to just bounce off your body. This is what we all want. So some of these health matters, when it comes your way, especially for free, grasp it, take it, and learn, and it will help you. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of Dr. Joe Osu Ajma. From now onwards, or henceforth, that is it. All right, Yanko.
Okay.
NFM Radio.
Mansa Musa, thank you once again. And today's topic, the health topic, is about asthma. And the question is, what is all about asthma? Asthma is a condition in which the air waves narrow and swell, and it may produce extra mucus. So when it swells, then we get some fluid coming from the lungs. This can make breathing very difficult because the lungs, all what it wants, or what the lungs, sometimes is one, but, we say lungs, or the lung, what it wants is just clean air, nothing else. So if we get mucus coming from the lungs or producing the water-like product, it makes the breathing very difficult, and this can trigger cough. And then because of the mucus that's slimy and very thick, when the person who is getting asthma, you can hear whistling sound. That's what we call wheezing. And when the person is breathing out, or sometimes we say shortness of breath. In UK, for instance, we have 54 million people that suffer from asthma. And asthma can strike at any age. So we have to be very careful, and then it can strike at any age depending what happens to your lungs, or in terms of allergies, what happens within your system. Some people are born with asthma, others got the family history, so they've got higher chances of developing asthma. So we have to take note of that. And other people as well, because of the work that they do, they can acquire, or they can be a victim of asthma. And somebody will ask why. Because people used to mine coal, and people used to work with asbestos. They used to breathe bad air, if I may say, and it was causing so many COPD and other things that can affect the lungs. And because the lungs are destroyed, it can't produce this kind of mucus, and it can affect people the way they breathe. For some people, asthma is just a minor nuisance. For others, it's a major problem that can interfere with their daily activities. Some people, they cannot do anything unless they take their medication or they use, and it can be life-threatening. I know some people who have died out of asthma because they didn't use their medication properly, or they didn't believe that they had to use their medication. But in the UK, people are looked after, and unless the person has been silly or by accident, that somebody normally dies from asthma. Asthma cannot be cured, but the symptoms can be controlled. So let's take this. If someone is preaching, whether on the VIP bus or somewhere, and is saying that I'm talking, because we've got people over the world listening, especially in Ghana, our country, our dear country, that are giving this medicine, the asthma is gone forever. It's not true. It's like asthma, like disease like diabetes and blood pressure. You can stabilize them, you can control them, but you cannot cure them. Let's get this straight. And I like to say this because I'm stressing this. And somebody will ask, why this? Our airwaves consist of tubes of muscles with an inner lining. And sometimes someone with asthma, the lining there are very, very sensitive. Anything that irritates this sensitive lining can trigger the asthma. And there are many different triggers. When the irritation occurs, the lining becomes inflamed and it begins to swell. And that's where the problem is. Because when it's swollen, we got water coming or fluid coming, and that is mucus. The person will start producing phlegm, like somebody who's got cough. You can see the phlegm. I'm talking about the chesty cough. You can see the phlegm coming all the time, and they can block sometimes your breathing. So that's how asthma. And then the mucus sometimes can be very thick that nothing goes out, nothing goes in. So that's what I have to say about the overview of asthma. Somebody will ask, you're talking about asthma, what are the symptoms of asthma? The symptoms of asthma can vary from person to person. Somebody's lungs is damaged more than the other person, or somebody acquired the asthma through birth. So the asthma has, or somebody's asthma is not being treated properly. So whenever it gets attacked, it's really, really serious. So we have to get into that and know how asthma. The signs and symptoms of asthma include shortness of breath. Sometimes somebody's chest will be tight. The person, when he's breathing, is tight. And there will be, when they are trying to breathe out, because every human being or living thing, animals, we breathe out, in and out. Oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. And when I'm saying oxygen
NFM
in,
Radio.
when you breathe in, it's not only oxygen that you breathe in. The air that you breathe contains other parts like nitrogen, other things, but the body will take, or the lungs will take what it needs and then send it to the other part of the body. And then when you exhale, these bodies, the nitrogen and other molecules will come out. But what we are interested is breathing in the oxygen. Let's forget about the other gases. And at the same time, breathing out the carbon dioxide. And when the person is breathing out, that's why we can hear the whistling sound. And then when somebody's got asthma and then you hear that kind of sound, then you need to go near the person. And then we talk about the things that you can do, like using the relievers, pump, and then the preventers. So we come that. When somebody is having trouble sleeping, the person can get shortness of breath, and then the person can cough, or the person can wheeze. The coughing can become so bad that if you're not careful, you think that the person has got flu or infection. That's why when the person has got a pump, you got the blue one, it's called reliever. You have to use it. Because what it does is, the muscles that are, you've got all the muscles, they expand and contract. So the contracted muscles, what it does is it makes it flexible so that the person can breathe normally. So let's take note of that. That's how the medicine works. We talk about it. I will explain it further. At the same time, asthma can worsen. Some people, they are controlled, but it can worsen. And when it's worsened, that's where the problem is. And if you're not careful, some people can go on and die. And I know a lot of people, or not a lot, I know friends dear to us that went through this and then died. So I will leave that and I'll come back, I'll visit, but we can go and talk about what the reliever does, and then for the people listening to know what causes asthma. The cause is more of trigger factors. They can trigger the asthma. So we have to be very careful with the things that can bring the asthma. And then there are certain things like You know, when you stroke a dog or a cat, you've got a pet, and then the fur you breathe in, that can be a trigger factor. Even, I know it's not common in people living in advanced countries because we've got that, we don't normally see the amount of death that we see when we go to our countries or third world countries or developing countries where you can see dust. When you're talking about dust, we talk dust. You can see that this is dust, but so that can trigger. And there are certain things, medicines and other things that can trigger. Some medicine like ibuprofen or NSAID, non-steroidal medicines, that can trigger asthma. That's why when you go to a chemist and you're trying to buy, the question will be, are you asthmatic? Are you this? Some people get upset and then they try to say, why are you asking me all these questions? Yes, it's very irritating, but you need to answer those questions for them to eliminate whether you're asthmatic or not. Because if they give you that medicine, these are the things that can cause. I was talking about allergens, such as pollen, the pollen from flowers, dust mites, mold spores, pet dander. I'm talking about the fur from animals, and particles. People will be shocked to know this. Particles from insects like cockroach waste, they can cause asthma as well. Asthma can come from respiratory infections such as common cold, because when you get cold and you can't breathe, once you're coughing, you got your chest is going to be tight, or you got fluid that you have to come in, the phlegm have to come out. So if the phlegm is not coming out and you're not able to breathe, and then just imagine, I've already explained that people with asthma, the lung lining are very, very sensitive. So if you get cold and then you producing fluid, that can also cause, and the physical activity can also cause asthma as well, because that's what we call exercise-induced asthma. Some people, they were trying to exercise and the asthma comes. So my advice would be, make sure you've got your blue pump, salbutamol, always with you when you've got asthma or you are likely to get asthma. Some people, they are likely to get asthma because of the family history or because of the work that they do. Or they've got an episode when they were young and then they've grown out of it. So we have to be very careful and then keep the pump. I always say to people that what you have to do is you keep the pump one with your bedside and you keep one along wherever you go, so that you don't know. The Americans will tell you, when you see a typical American, they will buy so many guns and they keep one at the door, the main door, hide it somewhere, keep one at the bedside, keep one at the kitchen, and you keep one somewhere. And when I ask them, they say, we don't know where the thief is coming, so that I can go near my gun and then shoot. So the same way, you don't know when asthma is the attack will start. So make sure you keep your blue puffer with you whenever you are exercising, and even common cold air can cause asthma, because the air that we breathe, when it gets into the body, the temperature in the body will make sure that it's the same level the temperature that you have, so that the body can separate the oxygen from the other mixture of gases. So you need that. But when it becomes so cold, the body is not able to do that, especially the lungs. And that's why people who are asthmatic, when during the winter time or when it's cold, Ghana will be during the Harmattan time. It's very dry and then it's very cold. So people with asthma, they get that. And then when it's very, very hot as well, that can itself cause, because when the air is very hot, okay, yeah, let's all take this to our kitchen if we've ever cooked before. When you're cooking something, let's say just normal water, and as it's heating, you can see bubbles coming out. The bubbles are the oxygen coming out from the water. So when air is heated to a certain degree, the oxygen will come out. It has to evaporate from whatever it is. So the same way that when the temperatures, they hit around 40 and whatever, and if you're not careful, that's what you're going to go through. So let's take note of this. And then air pollutant, I've already said that, something like smoke. There's something called smoker's cough. You see people coughing and, when they smoke, they cough and it's a dry cough and it says this smoker's cough. And these are the things that can irritate the lungs and it can cause asthma if you are asthmatic. Certain medications, like I said earlier on, like beta blockers, aspirin, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, as well as ibuprofen that everyone knows. Because so many names. The other day when we did how to take medicines, I mentioned all this there, and I think we did ibuprofen as medicine here as well, and I explained the good and bad of our own friend ibuprofen. Sometimes as well, strong emotions and stress can cause asthma. So we have to be very careful. You have to be happy. You need to enjoy whatever you do and do best. And don't stress yourself out, because every disease that you have, if you get stressed too much, that can exacerbate the disease that you have. So we have to be very careful. And then we got something like sulfites and the preservatives that they are in food. We use sulfites and preservatives as preservative in our food. And sometimes when you buy something and you're asthmatic, you need to look at the label and check whether you got these things there, because that itself in a certain quantity can cause the asthma attack. So we have to be very careful. And some people are allergic to shrimps, seafood, if I may say, dried fruits, processed potatoes, and people who love lager or beer and wine. If you're not careful, that can itself trigger asthma. So if you suffer from asthma, you got to be very careful when you're about to enjoy or when you're enjoying yourself. You need to know where you want to enjoy yourself. So that's very important. And people that suffers from gastro reflux disease, this is where the acid in your stomach will come around your chest area and sometimes all the way to your throat.
NFM Radio.
And that can irritate. And these things itself, when the irritating starts, can cause asthma. So we have to take note of that. So my advice is, if you suffer from that kind of disease, when you are eating, you need to eat in small quantities. Don't eat in late in the evening. Make sure when you eat, you have time to walk about or do what you do best before at least 1 hour to 2 hours before you go to bed, so that you know the food is settled in your stomach before you do all these things. So it's very, very important to do that. And there are certain things like being overweight as well, being a smoker, exposure to secondhand smoke, because if you've got someone who's smoking around you all the time, that can, if you're asthmatic, that can trigger your asthma. So you have to be very careful. And thank God in UK, you're not allowed to smoke near public place or whatever. We got designated place that people can smoke, which is very, very good. But not every country has got that those laws around that can help people. So we have to be very careful, because people do travel around, and when you are traveling, you need to know where you are going, and then you don't want to do something that it can bring, because you want to go to your holidays or for your holidays to enjoy yourself. You don't want to get upset because your asthma attack has come around. And especially to exhaust fumes, car fumes, especially people that are asthmatic. If you keep your car in a garage, what you need to do is you need to open the garage door before you start the car. These are simple things that we have to do. When you're parking your car, some people got or they have automatic garage doors, and then as soon as they move the car and the car exhaust is still on. If you're asthmatic, you have to be very careful. So you have to make sure you've got enough air around wherever you are. That is very, very important. And then there are certain chemicals as well, like hairdressing chemicals and manufacturing chemicals that can trigger asthma. I'm very interested in the complications of asthma. The complications where the clean aspect or the danger is. So if somebody nearly all the time gets asthma during sleep, we need to watch if the person's a child or the person's our dear one. We need to watch, and then we need to check upon that person anytime the person sleeps, because some people can get asthma once you're sleeping, and if you're not careful to wake up, things can go the other way around, and we don't want that. And some people who've got sick days, let's say you've got a child or you've got a dear one who say, oh, I'm taking time off, I'm not well, or whatever. You need to make sure you keep an eye on that person, because sometimes when somebody is not well, especially when the person's got common cold or flu, and then the joints are paining, or malaria, that the person cannot walk, the person is very weak. When the person's asthmatic, when the asthma
NFM Radio
attack comes, then the person might not call for help or something like that. And if the person hasn't got the liver near where she or he is, that can cause problems. So we have to be very careful as well. So as parents, I know some parents that they've got monitors in their baby's room, children room, and they can monitor whatever's happening. Every single small noise or every single noise that will come there, the parents can detect that. So we have to be very careful and go that way. I don't think the monitors are that expensive, but if you're listening to me and you are in developing country and you think you cannot get that monitor, you have to be alert and make sure when you're sleeping, some people sleep with music. You have to be very careful if you got asthmatic child in there or somebody who's asthmatic, because once your music, the song that you're playing, your music is loud and something's happened there, you might not hear. So you have to be very careful and do away with things like that. And I don't want to go into detail. I will talk about the complications in asthma, and I think let me rush quickly because of the time to how the medicines, the treatment, and after I'll run through the how can we prevent it. Like I said, the reliever, as the name suggests, it relieves the person from the asthma attack or asthmatic attack. So what it does is it relaxes the contracted muscles around the airwaves inside the body or inside the lungs, and the airflow, the flow of the air will increase, because when somebody is getting the attack, what happens is the lining becomes so tight and fluid will come in. So it's not easy for air to go through the fluid. And we all know that when you try to push air through a fluid or water, it's not easy. That's how it happens in someone's body. And if care is not taken by using a reliever to relieve and relax the muscles so that the person can breathe properly, then that itself can be very, very serious. And another thing is, the relievers, in most cases, when you use a reliever, it relieves the person between 5 to 10 minutes. So when you do that and still you're not getting the relief that you want and you think you are struggling, do it again. If you have to do it every minute, do it till the help that you need arrives. So it's very, very important for you to do that, because you might be on your own and nobody's there. So once you call him for help, you need to do something for yourself. It's the same as when somebody faints or the person falls down and you have to do the CPR to bring the person. You are doing that to save the person till help arrives. So it's very important you do it to yourself. And then let's go to preventers. And the preventers are the brown and the other colors of inhalers. And these inhalers, what they do is they prevent the attack for the first place. Because the reliever will relieve you when they get the attack. And the preventer prevents the attack from happening for the first place. And what they do is they build up protection around or inside the lungs and the airwaves. And therefore, anyone using a preventer has to use it every day. I've seen some people that they don't want to use their preventer, i.e. because they pay for the puffers, so they don't want it to run out. If you say one puff twice a day, that's what you have to do it. No negotiation, because the money that you want to, because you are trying to save, you don't want to use. When you get attacked, and God forbid, you join your ancestors. I don't know whether they will call you that, I don't know whether they'll call you, they will put something in your tomb and then say, this man, was a rich man, or this woman was a rich woman, or the person, if it's a child, you say, oh, the dad used to be rich, or the dad is rich, but use your money because of these things that we are all working hard. So when it comes to using money to buy medicines, please do it. Don't say I haven't got money, because if you die, you die. We all got one chance, and that's it. Nobody, I don't know, if you get a cut, knife cut or blade cut, the body will heal and come back. So you get another chance. If you don't cut the whole hand though, then you are fine. So these preventers are very, very important, and we have to keep them. But you don't have to carry them around. But the blue one, especially Sabitimo inhaler in Ghana and other countries, they call it Ventolin or Salamor or other, even UK. That's what we call it. And you have to keep it. And the trigger factors and everything, let's be careful. But because of the time, let me give small tips about how, when you get the attack, what should the person getting the attack do? First of all, you use the reliever inhaler immediately as soon as you get the attack. You sit down and loosen any tight clothing. If you got your belt or you got your tie, you need to loosen up so that the air can go inside. No restrictions. So you have to be very careful about this. If nothing improves, please use the inhaler every minute. Like I said, continue for 5 minutes until symptoms. You see that the symptoms improve. You have to continue doing that every minute. Because I know on your prescription or the label, it says use 1 or 2 puffs when it's required, especially the blue one. But my advice is, when you get attacked and then you think you're not getting better, don't leave the messages there. So far as you got some in there, continue using it till help arrives. No improvement after 5 minutes, after you're doing every minute, and then you haven't got improvement. If you're in the UK, please call 999. Or if you got your doctor's number and it's off, out of service doctor, please call or ask someone to call for you, because sometimes people cannot speak properly because of the air that's coming, the wheezing sound. You cannot hear the person talking, and it's the same as or it's more complicated than someone who is coughing and talking at the same time. But this one is like the person whistling to you, and you wouldn't like to see somebody suffering from asthma when the attack happens. So we have to be very careful about this. When the doctors or the paramedics, when they come around, they will take over.
NFM Radio.
And then normally they will put the person on the good way of doing that, and they will put something and the person will breathe through. If it's oxygen, they put it through oxygen. If they have to put it through nebulizer, they will do that. Nebulizer is a machine that they put some liquid, which is the same medicine, and then the machine will make what you're supposed to inhale as vapor, and then you inhale it straight away rather than your lungs doing that, and then that can open the lungs straight away, or the air waves straight away for the person to breathe. And when you are better, then they can take it from there, because the first thing when the attacks come is to relieve the person, for the person to get oxygen. Remember, 3 minutes, if you don't get oxygen in your system, the brain will begin to shut, and the brain cells will start dying. And if you're not careful, things will lead to brain dead. So you have to be very careful. We need oxygen, we need glucose to survive. And tips and advice to everyone will be, you know the triggers now, things that can trigger your asthma, stay away from them. If you think your asthma, you get a trigger from fair or animal done this, then please, nobody's forcing you to go and get a pet. Even if you have a pet, don't go and play with the pet, because that can trigger your asthma. Then you need to stay healthy. You need to exercise. You need to do what you do. But when you're doing exercise, because exercise itself can induce or cause asthma, what you need to do is make sure you've got your inhaler whenever you're walking around in the long distance. Whenever you're exercising, keep it, so that will save your life in terms of, or in case you get attacked. You have to look out for the warning signs as well. Some people, when the attack is coming, they can feel it. They know, because you know your body better than anyone else. That's why when you meet a pharmacist or a doctor, they will ask you questions to find out. Doctors and pharmacists, they've learned or they studied the symptoms. So what they do is they do a method of elimination. Have you got this? Temperature? No. Have you got this? Okay, if you haven't got this, but you got this, that, and then it is this. That's what doctors do. They are not gods. They study the body, how the body works. Yes, you got high temperature. Yes, you've got joint pains. Yes, you are vomiting. Yes, you are coughing. You are doing this. Okay. I suspect it might be malaria. Take this tablet, go and do the test, come back. You come back, malaria test, it says yes, you got the malaria parasite. Okay, then continue the treatment. That's it. If not, then we go and then let's check another thing. It could be infection. It could be other thing. It could be another disease that is mimicking the same, or it could be common flu. So this is how it works. So don't go and make up stories to your doctor, because what you say is what you're going to get. Apart from checking your temperature and your pulse and other things, what you say is what you're going to get. If you got headache and you go and say your tummy is hurting, that's what you're going to get. So let's be truthful to our doctors, pharmacists, every health professional who is looking after you. When you do that, because I seen personal, I'm not going to mention the hospital, that this lady was receiving care. The person got infection, and the age, not knowing that the person, because I'm on radio, I'm not going to say that, but was using different age, and the medicine that they were giving, because of the age that the person was holding, the person was like elderly person, so the medicine was reduced. Because when you're a child, your medicine is a bit low, the strength is low, and when it becomes adult all the way to elderly stage, then when you become an elderly person, the medicine that they give you is a bit reduced, because the body function, how your body organs function, are reducing. So they have to give you reduce so that you can get good excretion, the liver and then the kidney can excrete or get rid of whatever. So this lady, per the age that the lady was having, was given antibiotics, but very low, because the age was, about 30 years, the age that the lady was. So I saw this lady, I asked the lady, my sister, are you okay? Oh, and then when I saw the name, I went, are you from Ghana? Do you speak this? Is yes? Okay, let's go on. Nobody will hear us. Then we started talking about the local dialect. And I said, oh, my brother, I can't say this in English, but I will say, people who understand Chi, maybe no be in Amde Bay, un pacono, because was so a brain or better Ghana, and Amedina Yibai, Namde Bay, Namiyaria, a drum with the Maminams. And I did what I did, and I'm not going to say on the radio, with the help of the people that were working with me, and thank God, the woman is still alive, and so there are certain things that we have to be very careful, because every medicine that you're taking, the dose is according to the age and sometimes your weight, so you have to be very careful and tell people the truth. I will end here because I've gone over my time, and I will say thank you, and people want to ask questions and people would like to say something on top of that. You are free to do that. Thank you very much for listening.
NFM Radio.
As chairman for UK and Ireland chapter, oh you need papa, oh you need a money who doctor Joanne, oh you better man. I will vote for Doctor. Understand? I want to tackle the money who you fair. And tackle about this so dear young boy. You're a baby, I'm a coya, ready to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, and you are no one. I want to tackle the money who you fair. Tackle about this so dear young boy. You're a baby, I'm a young woman, so ready to a papa. Dr. Joe Ajimai, on no one. Dr. George must say, on no day of a say, NDC Kwa, oh, UK, the island, the beginning of diaspora, I crab a shanty, Montumano, Dr. Joanne, but the Campo Moba, I'm a mebu. The Campo Moba, this is a papa, but the Campo Moba, my man, yeah, ready. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of Dr. Joe Ajimai. When in here, my papa, Dr.
Right, so as you heard, this is the time for those of you, either or if you are a member of the campaign team or an outsider. That is just a description. I mean, if you're not in the team, if you want to ask something, if you want to say something, Ubusa Bibia, and I say Bibia farm medicine, and I say hospital, and I say health in some more kind, excuse me, And now say anything political, whatever you've heard so far. Anything you can call us here on 028 123 5911 and I'll say 07876 251 261. Who fresh our numbers here, obviously. Kwani Demuma. And now the DBI can or say NFM Radio. Emudaho.
NFM Radio.
Right, so sorry about this. But the phones are on. If you are saying you cannot get through, I really don't understand. Both phones are on. Are you sure you are ringing the right numbers or calling the right phone numbers? Obviously, if you called my private number previously when it was busy or engaged, then it means you won't get through. But apart from that, I can assure you that the two studio numbers, they are all free. I can see them sitting and waiting for your call. Into yourself, friend, who can be here. Last week? Was it Saturday? Naka, say party in the park, be basso. Also because of weather situations. I think the rather the meteorological department decided with the police that it was dangerous for people to gather in that huge numbers, so it was somehow postponed or cancelled. Now I hear a new date that was scheduled is now postponed again. I wonder this year now, because I don't think the party in the park sure because southern Europe we are be a bow papa and so UK akoye BC ubi who samani ma to Tommy shirts shorts knickers okay chrome can knickers me father no pe white pa no person proves so very very tidy Mansa Musa very untidy me na me see a white shirt and me too so I iron it nicely and all those things taught you a lot because how to use either starch or what they call blue, that chemical powder that you use, so you mix it in water, and when you put any white looking material in it, dump it in and dry it in the sun. We had those days we didn't have artificial dryer and all that. The sun was enough, good enough. It dries and the white becomes much whiter, as the Spanish would say blanco, you see. So I did that, and my dad loved it. Mansa Musa Senior loved it. You see what I mean? And I ironed it nicely, you see. So obviously, yeah, that is by the way. But the main issue now is it's still politics, and it is still open for debate or discussion from any angle. Kid Edward last year, we know we are banter. I'm the German. I say Usro. Wow, say Unsro. It is Usro there. And the quite the horse says over. But minimum say Unsro, Monemum. They say Cassan and yet. Bruni beka the narrative baby and common con baby anywhere there. Why he second Japan only nam way na or boy kutia na just oh no yes you are going to contract is now boss until you be so to be a man contract from Fabra some baby just say I don't know why this guy your friend is saying what's that man's name? Jira Mosquito maybe was Akronfo doing some. I mean, this time, no, maybe they won't be exactly doing some, but among the 10 of them, at least one or two, the like I said, they are genuinely straight. Obi this Jogate, Obi this Kabna Japan. They are straightforward guys, but they won't get any chance at all because this MPP by Kufuor is not for straight guys. It's not for your friend saying, I mean, it's clean people. No. It's for dubiosity. My own word. Right, Mr. Lons, welcome back again.
Thank you, Mansa Musa. Let me say a good evening once again. I've listened to Doctor extensively on the asthmatic, how do I call it, discussion topic, the health discussions. I wanted to ask that he says one can catch or develop asthma at any time, and that it cannot be cured but be maintained. Doc, is there anything apart from you knowing your body and observing the signs? Is there something like I don't know how to put this particular question. Is there any point in time that you think you are more prone developing that illness? You know, when let's say when you do the right things. In fact, I didn't even know that even over exercising or doing excessive sports could even, you know, land you into developing how do I call it asthma. So I don't know if I've asked my question rightly. And before I allow you to answer my question, let me do a bit of politics before I leave the scene for you to do the health answer, give the health answer.
I would have thought you clear the health issue, then you go deep into politics. Wouldn't that be the ideal?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So do you want me to hold on or call back?
No, I'm not. No, you can call back because I think Hajia is here, and let's give chance to Hajia. Then let him answer the health call. Then later you can come and do the politics.
Okay, all right, okay.
May I say?
The way I said it, I never said exercise can cause asthma. But people who got the symptoms or people that have got the history of asthma, and I said that some people were born with asthma and they can grow out of it. When you grow out of asthma, it could be that when they are preterm people and some people or babies, when they are giving birth, their lungs are not that developed and they can have that kind of asthmatic symptoms. And as they grow and the lungs are becoming better and better, they can grow out of it. There are other people as well. They've got asthma. They use their medication. They're taking whatever they are supposed to take, and they are stabilized. It's controlled. These are all terminologies. You know, the asthma is controlled. But if the person embarks on exercise, I'm talking about strenuous, not just normal exercise, walking around or whatever. You know, some people, they do strenuous exercise, doing something that is very, very strenuous. And when you do that and you haven't got your pump around, that's where the person can get exercise-induced asthma. Because the person is asthmatic, the pressure, because when you do exercise, you're using more oxygen, you're using more energy, i.e. glucose, in your system. And the more that you're using, that's why you see somebody panting when you walk around or you're trying to race or do some form of exercise when they run around, because the body will need more oxygen to do that. And when back home, when people are running and then they say they got muscle pull. What is muscle pull? Because that area, the cells in that area, they are not getting enough oxygen. So when they get that, you see the people, just punching or doing some stretching, everything. Because when you do that, you get more blood flow, and the blood will flow with oxygen and glucose, or the nutrients that the cells need, and they will start functioning again. So if I may, I think that would do the answer.
Hajia Halil.
Mansa Musa.
NFM Radio.
Emudaho.
Okay. And what do you need?
Emudaho. Na adi ma say yopo kre. Mansa Musa. Hello, Mansa Musa.
Ghana 40.
Hello.
What do you mean, car?
Me too, unka na say the network ya o e na ma me problem kakra but me did say o so me nka. Last week me kasa e kama nso network na ma me nyande.
Last week when I catch you also kasa kama. What kasa na what set you exams na woma on homeworks one. Hello,
Okay.
Akia.
Yes.
What do you mean, car?
Network ready, eh?
Akia, what do you mean, car?
My network is not favorable these days.
Hello, Akia, what do you mean, car? Akia, what do you mean, car?
Mansa Musa,
Hello.
me float yana.
Yeah, now me kasa what?
They say the amete.
Okay. Yo, yeah, ko.
Mansa Musa me there. Yeah, a pray free Ghana ni there. Yeah, prayer. You better head to any politics in the prefer.
Yo.
Good, thank you for that. Lady Kano. It's your way to your phone now. Now, market with you for say NFM. Radio station, Papa out here and for no. NFM. NFM radio station so ubenya accurate information. Mansa Musa. Ono ne chick ne sika na etwa afanini na ahanya obetwa ahanya odibesi. Enti utie na onye the accurate information of ukroma ufrim eye Ghana ukra ase umpotemu your constituency even your electoral area ubenya information free ho onya no be bia this NFM it NFM ya obia tie ha na emuda ho
NFM Radio.
Mansa Musa metia me candidate Dr. Joe Ajimamai. Doc, Hajia Kumapa, NDC Full Soldiers, grassroots, callers, communicators, testers, radio presenters, radio panelists, I call radio sunina, Yamaumo, Yamawaiko. That will share NDC Kakraka Wenino. Where you want to belong is the communicator side. A chairman in waiting and a communicator. Because a Juma Uyewe, Michelle, UK and Ireland for Bosse. A Jumano, oh, Baye, I'm Obibia Obeji other position in Ano. When you know easy. Because the chairman to an mountain be a say, Obeka party asem, Aka or minor asem, Ediama party or minor. I don't think say as a communication officer for our problem. Because Uchaman cry party in the mouth that. And today how you relax, you can relax. Chama is doing the work for you. And he's doing it wholeheartedly. Because offense Sabe, Se bi o ta frache. Kwancha de ya fa edi sika na ye. Enu nti na enyi na aye nso mu nso no, enu na edi chichire oman. Enti on giant to obia so. This is why I enu bi no. Ya ta na titem bia no because the man is down to earth to the extent that or in the profession as a doctor. Edi atu wa ma NDC party no say, let me buy radio so I'll educate you about your health because your health is important to me. Only ahondi a unni nkwa na nka mpese wotimi ato aba edi ama NDC. Enu nti doc yeda wa say gen communicators titu yeda wa say wo hwe yempa na hu say no me di me hu be nkrofo we na me no mo aye adwuma no edi ama party no. In fact, we are very grateful and we adore you so much. And that is why we are encouraging the UK and Ireland chapter say, never lose God. Mamu lose God, mamu nye kumewudie. Munye asinnot, you know. Namuntu abanu fama Honorable Dr. Joe Ajimai. Dr. Joe Ajimai. Debi American. Me say onu dia munim ni dida o. Munim no. Sister Obeye Vice Chairman. Ewo UK and Ireland. Oja Ibrahim to Okoye. Ibi fufuro no. Wanja party no tembia onimo a. Tembia onimo sum party. Odinisika eye party. Mansa Musa se me catch out the kind of constituencies any nipa doctor buo mo ewo Ghana ha. Ebeye wasifim. Ebeye wasifim say, hey, nipa de seni aba ebrochire obe pesika o pesika boa na ebusuafo sa boa party ebusua bi a onimo omu fi baby just because opese oman no ahoto ebem opese ahoto bem because wo party a amanfo hu nto omoye na so omusa nso wo opposition a ede oye ne eba papa we si there bi even though you wo opposition no me nje party position bia NGA ministerial appointment bia ye but me di misika be boa party for se na be ya party ni be ya akono omo be tine mu kopem se nyame ebe maye tumi umpe we upe die me kasa no na me ka kire ye penyin for omo Ghana ha because party ni tiri nyina e o Ghana national executives and then say last week you know many executives be ehia ye radio good national executives me kutu bon kotodwe pa omocho achom say me sra omo UK and Ireland chapter election e damakuma so pa me sra omo so munyi puma na ye chapter elections no na nye UK dia no because e ho na me interest e wo me sra omo me sra party for UK and Ireland say Dr. Joe Adman onye nipa hu ana onye nipa fo no keke oyo bi a so si a oyo e bosha wa hyemo se nyame ya adu na se moto abama na eye women and youth wing obefa asinebo aye na akono no wallahi me kacha mso obeye I know that man and I know what he can do with the chapter office party office you know I know the idea bi a wi ni moja nkasa enti ya idea wa sinibu se sempo edenenum na nka obeyi kura po obeyi di aba na ya pebi aka na de anya party office ewo UK and Ireland chapter I don't think say sa boshe we no any ni aka no eye sebe idea ontimi ye munina nso munim menuano sika hohoi eye de o but sebe nipa weni mo nyam eni se ohun beto wo so ehu hia pa obi di sika bebrew oje me de maw fa na me kukuru sika na se me de ko ma party nipa ba akopɛ na onu ko akoyusu e de ye no ho e de ye ne business a mo amaka ekire no mo de na ko benya Dr. Joe said there be onu de on tisa o onu odisika ni sha party ni mu na
NFM
won so
Radio.
wanya bi on fa mani pa ba ako besramo nipa ye pesa ochina omu lead ye no Omo beba abesuma amana so obia so na mmom ya mbobọ emfa nhyɛ nipa baako sɛ te sɛ ne akufo ado ene ɔbobɔ bibia edi ma na ebusuafo ne nkwala ne yire no mo ewu the baby mothers ɔsesa di mo no ɔnyɛ ne saa doctor sɛ ɔnyɛ ne saa da ɔno de ɔba aba abɛyɛ ama ahotɔ aso obia so ti mesrɛ mu yan waye na the need ku hausa mu keji magana na atakaice da nike ga muku ne Dr. George Manga mutum ne mai saukin hali in kuka vote mai wallahi ba ku jin kunya yana da kokari sosai kuma yana son party yana son yan party kuma don Allah muna rokan ku in lokaci ya kai ku vote mai ku duba yadda mutumin ga yadda vote time shi ya ba party he's always on radio yana aikin party ba a futu to irin mutanen da muke son kenan su zama muna shugabanni saboda gobe in party ya zo power sun yi aikin nan ya so aiki yayi kyau yayi magana duka kyau a kuma vote muna kuma the next time shi sa ku yi hankuri muna ba ku hankuri ne wanga mutumin kirki ne kuka vote mai ba ku hasara Mansa Musa ni ese sɛ honhom no ɛka kyerɛ asafo no waka akania sɛ nipa ɛbɛnya aso na obetie na menim sɛ UK Ireland for ɔmo nto ɔmo aba te sɛ kumawufoɔ da na mmom ɔmo bɛto aba sɛ ase not for na ɔmo ato aba ne ve ɛde ayi Dr. Joe Ajiman ɛde ama me sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a da bia meka me se UK Ireland sɛ moto aba na moyi chapter chairman papa a ɛma Ghana ɛwini election nti yɛbɛsrɛ mo yɛnida so nyinaa wɔ mo so hwɛ Italyfoɔ ɛne me kasa Germanyfoɔ ɛne me kasa me obiara ho hia me te sɛ UK4 deɛ because UK and Ireland mo ɛna moyɛ the beacon of the chapters nyinaa nti sɛ mo deɛ ne tumi gyina ne nyinaa nso bɛgyina mɛsrɛ mo Dr. Joe Ajiman ɔno nko a ɛna ɛyɛ pillar no a sɛ mo de si hɔ a bibia a yɛde bɛba bia no ɔbɛtumi aso a ɛde ama yɛ mo ne nyame ɛnyɛ dwumadɔk ɛde nyame gyaw nyame nso ɛbɛka wo ho sɛ wayi wo yam a woyɛ party adwuma wɔ nyame ɛma wo nsa ɛnsisi fam da nyame nso menim sɛ wo nkurɔfo no up till now a ɔmo tie wɔ ɔmo hwɛ wo no nyinaa no ɔmo ayɛ wɔ assessment na awie inshallah mmerɛ no so a ɔmo bɛto aba no dodoɔ no a ɛde ama wo nyame nka wo ho ɛne wo campaign a ɛgu so a yɛyɛ meda mo ase
NFM Radio. NFM Radio. Emu daho.
Mansa Musa. Hey, what's that? Who this girl, eh? Mansa Musa.
I still out eh.
Sorry.
Auntie, goodbye.
And then they are back there.
Oh, and then they are back clear.
Thank you.
You.
Nti ni ame wa me ka chapter 4 no.
You.
Omo nso me candidate ni mo ma me ye.
You.
Inshallah one day me no omo be hia.
Ayo. Okay, aja ya dasi bebre.
Me so me da ma se pa.
Right. Well, any other something to say? You are all welcome. 0208 123 5911 07876 251 that number 07876 251 is WhatsApp, right? So if you want to call WhatsApp, you can call that number. That is 447 876 251
NFM Radio.
Now, I'm speaking on behalf of Dr. Joe Ajiman. When in my papa, Doctor, I could see a person or the boy. Never party no money for any share. Oh, yeah, on my papa, or Guinea home. My Dr. Joe Ajiman said, or when make Nyinawo. Abe Dr. Arezi fan. Sikabotuo pa inu oduro. Se odebe boa. Executive members and departmentals ni nyina. And some doctor preaching say odebe boa no edos.
Got to remind you guys, the NDC people, I say some NDC East London present barbecue. Just say, Omo Shiem, Omo Kodidi, Omo Konom, Omo Didi, no Masa. Krumadi Didi, no. Fortunately, well, if you say so, na message in a call, you Kruma, and no one will be a person of Johnny Africa, because. Komodo wa much say Ukraine for Africa for say Komodo omo. Uji wa utiasi, but that's our way of life. Anyway, so NDC London East present barbecue and picnic party. So some anniversary celebrations about that NDC East London. It will happen on July 29th at 2 p.m. July 29th, that's not this weekend, Saturday, but the next one. And so there is going to be food, drink, music, and games. And the venue, those of you who know East London, there's a place called Custom House, Prince Regent Lane. The postcode to go there is E16 3JN. It's not far away from the city airport. And yeah, it's a nice place. Those are East London areas. That E16 part of London is very, very beautiful place. So go have a walk, go have a picnic with the NDC East London group and the picnic. Because of that, it's happening on 29th. It's a Saturday. So Friday, I'm not going to eat anything. In fact, I will even take some laxatives or purgatives, and it will help me to clear the system so I can go and eat plenty. So that is it for the announcement. Let me go on to this. More East London for me. Can't do where I'm free. Moon Tiamika. Oh, we can SME. Me come on free. Moon Tiamika. Tiamika. Bia in some din say some inam. Right. Lons Ajene.
Mansa Musa.
Hey, Mansa Musa.
Why are you laughing? Yeah, Lons.
What did you say?
I wanted to find out from you, how does ghost meat look like? Ghost.
I mean, to ask you a question, you know, if politics.
What's it? NDC for your Muslim didn't say some mine nam. I don't say some mine nam. It's saying now the ghost meat.
Some mine nam. Yeah, it be any din. We knew who put him when ye. What the announcement about me kind of free. Who friend, who busa. Oh my, your Muslim din. This is some mine nam. Just say. The man is say, "Oh yeah, no, omo dia kodidi, akosa, eyi achia, omo mbani omo member nyina."
Man, I na will say Friday we need na be ko akwa kodidi. I hope that this time
and we are ketua. And no, you upa just say, say come just say, it should even fate me, fate. That is fate. FETE.
No,
they should even pay me for coming. Huh?
Yes, that is when, but that is if or when they invite you. I'm not aware if they've actually sent you an official invitation, because the last time I checked from the records, you said you couldn't come to Manchester because you were not officially invited.
Yes.
So we need to cross that Rubicon.
Anyway, sure you are right. Once again, I'm not even invited, so I'm announcing this for free. And it is my fault. Thank you. Next time when I see the poster, I'll walk away.
All right, Mansa Musa, it's great. It's great talking to you on this particular issue. You see, it is against this backdrop that Team Joe has decided and has affirmed a policy, or obviously it's going to be a program anyway, that under the chairmanship of Dr. Joe Owusu-Agyemang, we are going to make NFM the official Radio, the official platform in terms of communication for the NDC and UK Ireland chapter. Look, interestingly enough, I've had people calling me, as I indicated earlier on the program, people calling me from the diaspora, Germany and USA precisely. And, they are so enthused by most of your programs, especially with the communication, the women and the youth aspect, how you've availed yourself, because what that means is that you are going to give us the platform without any excuses to go into full mobilization. And whoever knows, the history of the PNDC, NDC, it's all about mobilization. It's all about people putting their shoulders to the wheel. It's all about the collective good, and we are all, soiling ourselves and getting down to work and making sure that at the end of the day, no one is left behind. So thank you very much. With communication, Mansa Musa, I have said consistently that there's no way we can propagate or sell our message or drive the agenda of uprooting this corrupt, this ethnic-centered bigot, this incompetent, like never before MPP, under Akufo-Addo, and whosoever the delegates elect to take them into a position. We have to work hard. And therefore, Team Joe, right, we are preaching peace. We need unity. We need all hands on board. We need to respect each other. We are brothers in arms. We will step in there together, and we are not retreating, and no one will be left behind under the chairmanship of Joe. Mansa Musa, why am I saying this? The calls that I've had, people are interested that until the UK and Ireland chapter elects a mobilizer, someone who cares for the party, someone whose interest is beyond just the NDC and just appearing as a representative with a title. Many of the people I've spoken to want someone who really can lead the charge for us to get down to work in some of our nemesis, some of the places that I call nemesis, especially in the Ashanti regions, the eastern regions, and the Bono regions. Therefore, we are going to make sure that boots are put on the ground. People will feel, will feel like they are part of whatever that is happening. We are going to draw up a program. This chapter will officially, in conjunction or in relation with the International Relations Department, together with assistance from the National Party, we are going to make sure that we play a role. The international, in fact, the diasporan community, especially those in the Western America, in this part of the hemisphere, are willing that we coordinate. This is what, as an activist and as a sympathizer of the party, I have not seen happening. But we want to do things differently. This is why I will call on all my brothers, the young ones within this chapter. Let's extend the olive branch. Let's come together and think of the future of this political party under Dr. Joe Owusu-Agyemang's chairmanship. Because what I'm foreseeing is that very soon the mantle will be falling on some of us to lead. And if we are unable to uphold the sanctity of truth, what makes us different from the sort of canker that we are fighting today, then I am sorry. We are not going to have a future to call as politicians. This is why I'm encouraging general membership. If we want to win power, if we want the UK and Ireland chapter to play a part, if we want to be, if we don't want to be seen as just a mere pushovers, please, let's elect someone who has got what it takes to get there. I mean integrity, someone who is very disciplined, someone who is very firm, someone who believes, Mansa Musa underlined that, someone who believes in the ideals of the NDC. And what are the ideals? We are talking about probity, transparency, and accountability. And if we cannot hold ourselves as comrades to account for our stewardship, if someone cannot operate an open, transparent administrative structure, if someone cannot be part of a team, then Mansa Musa, we are doomed. I'm not surprised that this election has been held back. It tells you that a lot of rot has gone on. That is why, as patriots of the revolution, some of us have insisted that we want the right things being done. Dog, I will not take much of your time. I know my other colleagues would want to also contribute. But all that I'm saying is that I thank you for your honesty. I thank you for your firmness. I thank you so much for your consistency. We have not deviated from the things that we believe will not move this chapter and the NDC chapter party forward. We will continue to insist on the right things being done. We shall continue as a group to advise ourselves and make sure that when under your chairmanship we form the IC committee, we are going to take the necessary advice from the elders of this great party and make sure that never in the history of this chapter should we allow ourselves to be thrown off guard like we've been done to us this time. I say a very good evening and a big thank you to Mansa Musa for allowing me the platform. And Mansa Musa, let me say this once again. You are more than credible. And because of that, under the chairmanship of Dr. Joe Owusu-Agyemang, we are going to align the NDC with NFM and make sure that if you are in charge or you are still there and we are healthy, we are going to make sure that from that time until the last vote is counted in Ghana's election next year, 2024, the NDC will continue under Joe Agyemang, will continue to use you as the official media or medium or the platform, whichever one that fits the narrative. We will not budge from what we believe will help this great party in this part of the world. Mansa Musa, I thank you so very much. One of these days, I shall find my way to your studios and we are going to delve so much into some of the issues that needs delving into. Hopefully, as I said earlier on, the CIC has almost done everything, and as I indicated, it's on its way to Accra. And very
NFM
soon,
Radio.
There's going to be a date where this whole business of who leads this chapter, the number of people, people who are supposed to form the executives and everything will come to a closure. And I appeal, I believe so much that those who did not qualify, everything has been done anyway. I'm not going to delve into all this pettiness, whatever I call it myself again. Mansa Musa, I say thank you for offering me the opportunity.
You. Thank you to, okay, let me take this call. I'm sure this is, okay, thank you. Yeah, this number is well known, and I think I'm quite sure that it is Mr. Abolo. Hello, Abolo. Welcome to the show. Hello, Abolo.
Mansa Musa.
Yes, welcome.
Oh, Midasi. Mansa Musa, Emudaho.
Yo, Emudaho, Yanko.
Oh, Midasi, Mechie Namachia, the incoming chairman, Dr. Joe Owusu-Agyemang. Namabo manager, Lawrence Abasu. Any team na Miami Nyaba Alimatu. Nyami Shirano. All Kasano. About communication. Yemubi Mansa Musa, one who feed away so I want. Every party, upese umba benyemu, anauntina benyemu na unyama nko ye na party sensem nko ye na media no, communication. Yemubi ni entia yesi Dr. Joe Owusu-Agyemang yeta nechi say Ombedi UK chapter n'enimu no. Mansa Musa, last week me board Doc Abaso say serial callers team na wo Ghana ha also yasi oboaye yetimi bo party ni wudewu eko radio su TV su baby anu nyame adom nhyehyɛ a ɔyɛ ɔpushi yɛ sɛ yɛbɛyɛ orientation ama yɛ no nyame adom a yɛawada ɛba so yɛda dɔgas sɛ fight sɛ ndc ne bɛba power dɔg yɛda ase nyame nhyira na menim sɛ uk arena chapter electoral committee no so egu so ɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ a menim sɛ ɛnkyɛ biara no ebi agorɔ no bɛhyehyɛ so yɛgu so srɛ delegate sɛ mmerɛ no so a wɔn hyɛ doctor anuonyam Mansa Musa ne etiefoɔ edi adaseɛ sɛ tam na ɛmo yɛ ɛdin a yɛpɛ amanfoɔ ɛbɛba NFM radio so abɛbɔ party no ho dewuro aka party no ho nsɛmpa ama party no ayɛ akɔnɔ no yɛho obiara doctor yi ne ho si hɔ ɛnɛ UK Arena chapter anya asɛm dɛ sɛnea campaign manager kan no NFM radio Mansa Musa obi mu pɛ kyama edi ebisa Mansa Musa sɛ ɔmo mba hɔ na ɔmo ni adagye etiefo ahe na etie NFM radio Dr. Joe Usu Agimasi dabi yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ɛnɛ ayɛ dɛdɛɛdɛ ayɛ akɔnɔ ama mu ada hɔ afei ɔmo pere sɛ ɔmo abɛkasa menim sɛ Dr. Joe Usu Agima ɛbɛlidi chapter na ɔbɛ asan ɔmo mu bi na ɔmo aba show ni so abɛpuru ɔmo mmerɛ mu Doctor yɛbɔ wɔ aba so nyame nhyira wo sɛ adwempa a wɔma UK Arena chapter ne NDC no ɛbɛbɛ mu menim sɛ delegate ɛngya ɔmu saa nyama pa ne sumpa a wɔma party no hwɛ sɛ na wode wo ho akyɛ hɔ nimdeɛ a wakɔsua baabi a ka wode bɛdi sika party no ho dɔ nti wowɔ fidie no so ɛpurupuru mu ɛkyerɛ yɛ adeɛ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛnya apɔmudi pa na yɛde atena party mu yɛde abɔ adwuma pa ama 2024 yɛtumi ato aba ayi nanado otirimɔden aban yɛ fi hɔ n'ano yɛbɔ national anthem ɔhene te hɔ deɛ ɔyɛ abonsa wɔ ɔmampanyin Nana Akufo-Addo ani so the same national anthem no yɛbɔ na ne ba yɛ kɔɔ deɛ ɛne deɛ yɛ yɛnto aban wɔ mfi hɔ Dr. delegate ɛbɛhyɛ wɔ n'onya onyuma pa wopɛ pa ɔdɔ ɛma wɔwɔ party no ɔmbɛhyɛ wɔ n'onyam nyɛ mimɛ wɔn kpa fae wɔkpa nyɛ fae ne nokofo efi nyɛ minu nyɛ Dr. Joe Usu Agima eke bele mbenke kemba UK Arena chapter eba fe ne fefo NFM radio ba she ko na ka ba na ba yi party ayodasi e make oda abi abotue ngmene Dr. Joe Usu Agima ke dabi ajo shishi ke jo eko e ba dum momi ne ye NDC ayodasi ye NFM radio no ngmene efefo enie kashi ofia monto ne ba wi ejema ekeke nyefo shikiale ne ba fe chama ba ni NFM radio ba form me na ba ye party odasi ne ngo ne fefo na tunu chumo papa ni 2024 ofa Nana Akufo-Addo ke MPP e wo fa me ke jejeme UK Arena chapter anytime na ba na chama papa ye UK Arena chapter NDC you kunim won panye fai ko ni ke bi e hye ka Dr. Joe Usu Agima ilaka electoral committee e jano to na meke fon hye che no oshikie ba nye ba no yenye minu nye ka nye pa ai no ye kaya nye fon shikie ale eyen wo mi NDC serial callers ni yo Accra eyen wo mi pinpa ni yo na echi ahu na ba fi orientation awo Thursday na ni ba na o ma yen lo ewo John Dramani mama ba yin je meke wo wi fe Dr. Joe Usu Agima eni ne na nutu mo je ko jinu o UK Arena chapter won panye fai e bi e hye ni ye wala nyu nyam ye fon shike hale no vinyo nya aronkuji UK Arena chapter electoral committee a o do nyewo o le doji e makare jibe majiji mo akodada ejivage mi aronkuji mi anovi mi afo mi aloloto Dr. Joe Uswajima mi aronkuji mi adako ni ọba nungo na UK na chapter NFM radio ya oroji ya amogbo na Mansa Musa be amomoro to tayo vaga fonu egba Dr. Joe Uswajima ewe enya ko yo le duji be ọba fonu ala be na ewe nwie na ma oga woge ebe na mi dako na eva le chapter nkuma ase chama na inagebe ya mona va fuma banu be fa drem le ndisi an agbonya nwie onyakpo amona gere me party ananyo agbo gere onami ke bo na kekada na roku mi ano viji mi adako ni gere o wo wom ge mi ano vi o mi na radio ji yo na radio ji again doctor madamira ingbo ya mano mia e makareji be mi ano mo nko sen radio ji legi bo no yo yom ha eleji fonu plama gan ya ora ya gbegbo na ye go orientation le conference center doctor akpena mere kuku na mi delegate o mere kama ga blemi nyanto mi da mi arokiri mi ade susuri mi akpoba mekelo patia me gbama gbedo mi aronku doctor ji mi adako ni benu o wa sun etefa na radio ji bẹ́ẹ̀ni àná sẹ́mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ni àná pàtì àmà nípò má já tẹ̀tì kẹ́rò yẹn ẹgbẹ̀wẹ́ káfí àfihàn àná rẹ̀fẹ̀ náà yẹ kàkẹ́ lọ́lọ́nu fàn dọ́kítà akpẹ́nu Mansa Musa ní dáàsì Mansa Musa ó ní àbá náà fẹ́ ní kákáwé àdúyì.
Yes, me, yeah, you, Marty.
Mansa Musa.
Yes.
Mansa Musa ó ti pín nǹkan.
Obi àìtí o, Ghana fún yìí náà àìtí o.
Na midi manu esi no mibisa o sɛ ó ní ma abɛn bi ɛfɛ ní kakari adwin.
Dɛbi, ɛyɛ dɛn a?
Ayé agogo asthma leave.
Ah, okay.
Ogoga asthma leave ɛbɛba. Mesi dɔkta kyerɛ aborɔfo deɛ na mi nso mi di bibifoɔ deɛ no so abɛ mu. Asthma leave ɛdi treati asthma. Ogoga asthma leave ɛbɛba. Obi ɔhia ne bibi kwan mu deɛ yɛ so yɛ bɛkyerɛ mmerɛ ne ni ɔnti mede bɛsi ha na mada obi bi ase sɛ mmerɛ ne so ɔmo nka ɛdɛ piao.
Yo, sure, Maniaba. Hello. Is that Mami Sewani?
Yes, please. So the time in the continue with the Mr. Eti for Dr. Joe Uswajima, the campaign manager, Meti for Mama be making comments on my friend. Time of contact, I can't say much, but what I was saying is the doctor, and I mean, that was the what Juma Woye. Send it to be a mechano, Mr. UK and Ireland. Congress says, and I may have drum nesse. A chair, Henny, a chair, Henny, your Abua BM. For my quema, Momo, and to my doctor when you my part. Because now, and Yama be your best even the health aspect, no crown water. There's some name, maybe honestly, me myself, I don't even know. Which is or certain or educated. It is with the Indian or one less was needed. Educated and see how much more say they are to me in the manner. Yeah, then or the Bay UK and Ireland. Or when the public breed the Maya or when the public breed the offer UK and Ireland. Mr. Musa, it drew Honoma, Momo Modern, Nayan to my Dr. Joe Uswajima. Doctor, time of coach, I can't say much. Jamaica, so far, NFM Radio, Mutaho.
All right, thank you. Mansa Musa. Thank you, Mansa Musa. Let me use 3 minutes to say this. We went to Manchester. Manchester program was the best I've ever seen. I said it there, and then Mansa Musa, the dressing. I think he saw some of the decoration and everything. The mayor, the Lord Mayor of Manchester came there, and the organization, everything was perfect. But Mansa Musa, I must say this: as a chapter, You know, I salute my former boss, Honorable Kofi Kwachi, when he was a chairman. Anytime that a branch was doing a program, he would tell the executives, let's go and donate something. Let's go. The chapter has to support. I didn't see that. People in Manchester, they did, apart from the people that supported the program. I'm challenging the chapter. Who the monies that we are paying, what are you using? It's the branch that makes the chapter. Why are you not giving money to the branches to work? What are you sitting on the money for? This is not right. This is not the NDC chapter that we want. This is not the UK chapter that we want. I'm challenging them. At the same time, we've got two people. My own brother, Simon Awarigo, and Vida Kukua from Metin Keynes. They are PC. They are parliamentary candidates, and we have to support them. I was expecting, when our chairman was talking, I was expecting him to say that he's going to support them. He never said anything. I'm challenging them to start fundraising tonight or tomorrow to support them, because 2024 is around the corner. They have to do it, because we have to do whatever to make sure UK and Ireland, we put these two people to become MPs. That's the only way they can change the norm in our parliament. We sit here and say that the MPs are doing things that we don't want. Our own, they want to take the mantle and do what we do in the UK. Change the narrative. Why can't the chairman organize a meeting or something like that and then set up the fundraising, get enough money to support these people? And I tell you, when I'm a chairman, I will make sure these two individuals are elected. Whatever I will do to make sure they get elected, I will do it. I'm not sitting here talking. I've started raising funds towards that. I've started doing the little that I can to support these two individuals so that they become MPs. In future, when they are talking in Parliament, we can stand and then raise our head and say that these people come from UK and Ireland chapter. This is what we want. This is what we want the chapter. And then in the near future, more people will go and stand and become ministers and become people who can rule us in Ghana. And because they've got what it takes. These people got what it takes to become leaders, our future leaders. So chairman and the chapter executives, I'm challenging you. We have to start fundraising project now. Thank you very much. And Mansa Musa, I'll end it by saying that people will listen to us tonight. I thank you. I cherish you. And this is the only radio that you can hear. Good things about Ghana, good things about our party, the NDC. So, Tuesdays and Thursdays, please make sure when it comes to this hour, don't miss it. And this is the radio when you want to hear something about your country. This is the radio that you never sit, miss and listen. Thank you very much and have a restful night. And God bless you. Thank you.
NFM Radio.
Right, so here we draw the curtains down for tonight's show. Let's give our thanks to all those who call in to make the program a success. Thank you to all those of you watching Facebook and YouTube, and of course to the listeners on radio, NFM Radio. Tomorrow is a Wednesday, and what we plan to do tomorrow, hopefully to bring some Ghanaian personalities, some Ghanaian entities to come and answer some questions or to come and discuss stuff with us. Thank you all very much. Have a good night. And tomorrow should be productive.
On behalf of Dr. Joe.
In the name of the Almighty. Have a rest. Thank you and good night. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Make sure I'm a sewa about